Hey everybody, welcome back. Uh
We're back.
Episode 12. So I'm excited about this one. Um, me and uh we definitely this podcast, this conversation cast is about friendship. That's the whole basis of why we do it, is about friendship. So tonight, right now, we're gonna be talking about friendship and how important that is, the power of friendship. And so why don't you start off, like, I know that it was on your heart kind of to um emphasize how important
Right.
friendship is and how important uh the right friendship is, not just friendship, but the right friendship.
Yeah, I would love to start. Yeah, I felt like it, like because we, we're both we're like one and the same, but yet very different. It's weird, but then it's like we're not different, but then we are. I don't know. That probably makes sense to the people that's viewing it, but um, and like we always share, one of the main reasons why we both wanted to do this is because we both feel like there is so much knowledge that other people can get that can
Right.
push them forward, that fortunately, because we've been great friends for so many years, we've been able to transmute to each other to
Hmm.
get results that other people should have and will have.
Right.
But I caught myself thinking about um, just being in a space of utter appreciation, like sincere appreciation of you, because a few years back, I remember when I was just like in a place of turmoil and it wasn't a good place to be in. And I'm typically a very positive person. So for me to be in a place that was like a whirlwind of nothingness and not having any answers for myself, that was pretty uncomfortable. But
Hmm.
fortunately, because we've always dialogue, and it's just good to have not just. So I heard a long time ago, there's a difference between good intentions and correct intentions. And I remember when I heard that, I was like, okay, I need the speaker to break that down because this sounds like something I've never heard before. And they just simply said, I can be good to you all I want.
Hmm.
But if I'm talking about you to somebody else, then I'm not being the correct friend.
Right. Right.
I feel like it goes deeper than real. Like it's correct. If
Right.
I'm treating you correctly, I'm going to speak to you openly. I'm never going to say something behind your back like that.
Right.
Even as I'm saying it, it hurts my stomach. That's how much
Right.
respect I have for you as a friend.
Right. It's like a friend feeding you when you're hungry, but then telling somebody else, yeah, that hungry mofo, or eating off of me. It's like you did a good deed, but then you negated it by not being correct in your actions thereafter. So I get it, and it makes sense.
Right.
It makes total sense.
And I don't want to get off topic, but I feel like that's necessary because maybe that information helps somebody. But when I was thinking about our next topic, I was just in appreciation that I'm so grateful, like to the bottom of my heart, grateful that, we both grew up in Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy. I always had aspirations to have better, but to have, my own house, equity, my mom in the next room, resting and relaxing, knowing that she'll always have a place to stay versus how we grew up is priceless. But I know the initiative for me to get here started from that conversation that you and I had when I was in Atlanta and I wasn't feeling right and I needed change bad. And I'm literally asking you for advice. And
Mhm.
you being the individual that you are and the wisdom that you have telling me, I'm not going to give you advice, but I will give you perspective. And maybe you can weigh pros and cons and you can make a decision from there. Like, I don't want to say I don't know if you know what you did because you're extremely smart and you have a lot of wisdom, but and maybe you did. That's why you realized that you allowing me to make my own decision, regardless of the place that I was in, you allow me to empower myself. And because you allowed me to empower me,
I'm glad I was able to do that, because I think
yes.
um the results of that is continued power. Like, if you get empowered, now you're powerful, right? And so you
Mhm.
take the skills that you gain in that empowerment phase, and then utilize that in every other scenario where you need to conjure up some power. So
Right.
I'm glad, and I've seen it, and I've seen the results, right? Like, we had to continue, like, we had continued our friendship from that point till now. And so I see the continued elevation, you know. So it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. For,
Yeah.
good friendship motivates you. Good friendship sometimes kick you in the butt when you need it.
Right.
Good friendship teaches you that you may be having, the incorrect thinking pattern. Like, for instance, you said I helped you, but then you reciprocated it with me, years later, when I was like not in a down state, but I was just apathetic,
Mm.
right? I was like, man, I don't know when I'm about house. My credit sucks. You know, I was like, maybe in the next 20 years when I'm old or something, and you know, maybe, but then you gave me the tools that I needed to change that trajectory, um, when it comes to home ownership, because it starts with credit score, right?
Mm.
And so once you gave me those tools and I applied them, then it was like within a very short period of time, I was signing documents, you know, um, to close on my home. And so it's the right friendship pushes you into a place of success. The right friendship pushes you in a place of uh, more comfortability.
What
So
about the amount of years that it took you and I both from when you gave me the information and then
right, right. So I recall
Mhm.
it was 2014 that we had that initial conversation um about the Atlanta and what, like, and I didn't even say what the possibilities are. I recall just telling you, like, hey bro, these are the I don't know, like, I was
Pros and
just,
cons.
yeah, these are the pros and cons, and then the next thing I know, you was it was like 150 degrees. And I was like, oh, that's AZ, 150 degrees. Okay, he's there. He's there, Um, and so you tell me, what's the timeline from that conversation to when you started seeing really good positive changes happen?
It's even even thinking about it again, it just blows my mind because the conversation started in 2014, but 2015 was when we really had the conversation when stuff was hitting the fan for me. And September 2015, we had the conversation. October 2015, I was right back in AZ.
Mm-hmm.
2016, I decided to turn my credit around because it ended up doing a nosedive, being in my previous situation.
Mm-hmm.
And in September of 2017, I put down the earnest deposit from my house. So we had that actual conversation in 2015. 2 years later, having jacked up credit, a negative five something bank account. I don't mind sharing because we're about keeping it real.
Mm-hmm.
In 2015, I had a negative five something bank account coming back to where I am now. And then in 2017, I put down an earnest deposit from my house. And anyone that knows about buying a house, you have to show true income for at least 2 years. So clearly, income was being made.
Right.
But then the even super cool part, and it gave me chills this morning sharing it with you when we were deciding what we were going to speak about. In mid 2018, I was driving early in the morning. We're having a conversation about credit. And in the middle of a pandemic, 2 years later, you're putting down money to get into
Right.
your house. We
Right.
both had 2 year time spans, but
Right.
like I'm sure you're going to get into it as far as the power of friendships. Like those numbers, these are real numbers.
Yeah. So for
Like
you, it took
happening.
approximately 2 years
Mhm.
once we had that conversation. And then for me, it took approximately 2 years once we had that conversation. And I believe in coincidences, right? I believe, well, I know people misuse that word coincidence. Coincidences happen all the time, right? Coincidences, co-occurring incidences, co-occurring things that happen at the same time. What people really mean to say is there's no such thing as happenstances. Right? Things
Right.
don't just happen just because they happen. And so I don't believe in happenstances. I don't believe that the 2 year time frames is just like arbitrary. I believe there's a connection between friends and you'll see certain patterns of power and certain patterns of failure too, if you're
Mm.
with the wrong people. And so what ended up happening is we shared this reciprocating energy of success that was like a 2 year timeline, you know. And so whatever energy that I gave to you and it did its work in 2 years, you gave it back to me and it did work in 2 years. So I believe in that. Honestly, I know some people might be all spooky about it.
Right.
It ain't nothing spooky. It's just the way I believe the universal energy works, right? It's about energy. Like everything vibrates, right? Everything vibrates, whether you see it vibrate or not. And so there is an energy pattern that is all around us. And so whatever energies you're going to be close to is what you're going to start to get in tune with, you know? And so like, and I'm gonna give you an example, which is kind of off topic, but on topic. I know some of you have had friends that were like into the darkest side of life, right? Drug dealing or having illegal weapons or something, right? Gambling, drinking, drugs, and you hung out with them, and after long enough, you're feeling like you want to participate. You're like, maybe I should gamble. Maybe I should drink what they're drinking. Maybe I should smoke what they're smoking. Maybe I should delve into it a little bit and see because your energy pattern starts to in tune with that person or persons, you know. Um, and so me and A, because we were rocking with each other, we started to have the energy pattern of each other, and it reflected 2 year cycles of 2 years time span of 180-degree changes of progress. And so we spoke about friendship because friendship is the key, is one of the keys to success. Relationships or friendship is just a word of saying more than one person coming together and being at peace with one another, right? And being an assistant to one another in some way, shape, or form, right? A friend is a person who, if your back scratches, they scratch it. And then when their back scratches, you return the favor. That's a friend. And so I wanted to bring up a couple of friends or examples of friends in success, right? That most people may not be aware of. So, for instance, Airbnb. Those were 2 to 3 friends that came together and created that business. You know, Nathan Belcharzik. Hopefully, I'm saying it correct. Belcharzik, Blacharzik. Excuse me. Um, Brian Chesky and Joe Jabia. Nathan and Joe actually became roommates off of Craigslist. You know, Nathan was looking for an apartment, I believe in San Francisco, went on Craigslist, found Joe, became roommates. Noticed Joe had a particular set of skills that was different from his set of skills, and realized Joe was exceptional, and realized they had both had a similar uh, similar work ethic. And then that blossomed into the idea of Airbnb. And so now, joined by Brian, they became the founders of Airbnb. And now they're multi-millionaires because of it. Most people know this name here, Ben and Jerry's. These were friends from childhood, from 7 years old. You know how they met? 7 years old in grade school in gym class, and they realized they were the two fattest, slowest runners in gym. So they became friends. See, and this is not to fat shame anybody. This is their own words, right? They recognized they were the two slowest and fattest kids in class and gravitated to each other and became friends. And then when they became adults, I believe Ben moved to New York City, where Jerry was at the time. And they came up with the idea of selling ice cream. And because the New York City market of ice cream was flooded, they moved, I believe, to like Virginia or Wisconsin, no, Vermont, excuse me. They moved to Vermont and then started their business, Ben and Jerry's, out of Vermont. And now they're one of the biggest names in ice cream, right? If not the biggest names in ice cream. You say Ben and Jerry's and you know exactly what that is. Right. And these are legitimate friends. I believe one of them died a while back, if not both of them, but I know for a fact one of them had died. Unbeknownst to most people, PayPal, another big name that rings ears that everyone knows about. PayPal. Now, this is a little bit more confusing of a relationship, but the founder, the person who considered the founder of PayPal is a man named Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel he's a genius. He's a genius, pretty much. He's a genius, right? And he's had other companies that's public that you can buy on the stock market. So look him up, Peter Thiel, Thiel. Elon bought a company, right? Or acquired a company, which means he bought it out, named Confinity. Confinity, how can I say? Confinity merged into what was known as PayPal. And through somehow, the founding person, right before it became like PayPal as we know it, Elon was not the head of it anymore. It became Peter Thiel, who was a longtime friend because they merged companies. And Peter Thiel became the president. And then it took off. It went public. Millions and billions of dollars. I believe both of them are billionaires. Well, we know Elon's a billionaire. I believe Peter Thiel is also a billionaire also. So from this friendship produced billionaires, the richest man on the planet, and then another multi-billionaire. And then one other relationship I want to talk about, because we're talking about friendships, but we're talking about relationship period, is Gap. The Gap was founded by a husband and wife, Doris and Don Fisher. How did it happen? Don couldn't find proper jeans with a proper length for his satisfaction. And so they decided to open up a store and sell jeans. Jeans, and guess what else? Jeans and music records, right? And they were going to call it, guess what they were going to call it? Pants and Discs. And Doris was like, no. We're going to call it The Gap, in reference to the generation gap. And now this company it went public. Well, it founded in 1969, I believe, and then it went public in 1970 something. And now this company represents the Gap, Old Navy, Banana Republic, wealth upon wealth upon wealth. And so having the proper relationships, whether it be friend, platonic, or husband and wife, romantic, it could be one husband and wife, two pairs come together and create multi-generational wealth, create an idea that benefits many, many people, do something fantastic, but friends help each other's life become better. Right. right? But it takes the right friendship, because if you're dealing with people who are not going to uplift you, then you're gonna get brought down eventually. Or unless you're the force that changes them out of their trajectory of
Mhm.
destruction.
Mhm.
But we're saying this to say, choose your friends wisely. If you don't have friends, look for people who you know are positive and that you can gravitate with and politic with and talk with and converse. You may not have a ton of people to do it with, but you get to find that one, and then you never know. And this is what this and me, it was talking a little bit before about just our personal life, like what's going on and stuff, and certain things was happening. And um sometimes you never know what your friend can do. You never know what secret talent your friend has. Just like Nathan and Joe Jabia, right? Like they became roommates, and then if you find out this guy has a skill set that he's really really good at, that can be utilized to create something that does not exist, that brings millions and billions of dollars and employs people and houses people temporarily, and competes with hotels now, competes with you know the Hilton and Marriott and all these things, right? So you never know the secret talents that your friends may have. You never know the secret Superman behind that person. And so, get really good friends, be genuine, and I guarantee, you will feed each other and help each other become successful, or more successful than you already are.
Yep.
But I wanted to give examples, just a few, so you can kind of see beyond just our interaction, that there's others out there, right? These people weren't um always Airbnb, or always PayPal, or always the Gap, right? Um, they had to start from somewhere, and it started with a relationship, you know. But hey, you wanted to add anything else before we sign off on tonight?
Absolutely, man. And we spoke about it. Just don't let. So I heard a long time ago. I'm saying a long time ago as if I'm old. A few years back, that vision is seeing the unseen done. I can't tell you how many times people have told me, or when you're sharing an idea with someone and they just don't feel it or it doesn't resonate with them. Like, don't pay no mind to that, because if you have the vision to do what you know for a fact is going to work in the future, clearly you can't expect for someone else to see that same vision as you. You have to push forward anyway. And if you know for an absolute fact that that's going to happen, then that should be your primary focus. Stay away from people. Actually, in my opinion, only share your ideas with people that really matter.
I agree. I agree 100%.
So
I
just
agree.
wanted to
Yeah,
not
no,
even
I
drop a seed. It's just I feel like that needs to be known.
yes, I agree. Um, you only tell people who you really know will give you energy forward, right? And not give you like energy that's hampering on your plan. Like I had a family friend of the family that's like a relative, that was like almost like family, been around my family so long, felt like family, right? Introduced him to everybody as my cousin. And I was going this I was like 20, I don't know, 25, 24, 25, something like that. I was, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and and I was telling them, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and get with this this uh this program that would employ me, and I would make a really good salary, right? And you know what they said? They said, you ain't gonna get that. You ain't gonna get that. It's hard to get in that. You ain't gonna get into that. It's very difficult to get into that. And I was like, oh wow. I was like, where's the like, I hope you get it, or
That's what's up.
Good luck. It was like, you're not gonna get it.
Wow.
And I did not get it. I didn't get it, right? And I learned a great lesson. Um, and so after that, I don't really tell too many people my plans until they're already like there, right? I'll tell us to select one or two people that in return, when they come to me, I give them the same like energy. But you got to be careful because people will put I guess hater energy on your blessings, right? uh you're pregnant. You never know if this friend of yours you're telling that you're pregnant has been trying to get pregnant but can't, or having difficulty. You never even know. And then they hating on you. They smile, oh, congratulations. Why you pregnant? I ain't pregnant. Right? You never know. So that's why, you might want to tell nobody until you're showing, right? Just to give that, to have none of that hating energy. Because like I said, everything vibrates, everything is energy. Just like in previous videos, we talked about, mentalism, we talked about polarity. Everything has a polarity. Then if everything has a polarity, that means everything is at motion, everything has a vibration. And so you want to, if you fully start understanding all of that, then you'll be like, I'm gonna be with the right vibes, and I'm gonna not share everything with everybody to protect my vibes. And so you're on point by bringing that point up. You're on point about it, because people will doodle on your eyes, doodle on your dreams, like you can't do it. But of course, you want a friend that's also gonna bring you to reality. Right? You don't want everybody just agreeing with your friends. Yeah, whatever, man. Yeah, I'm gonna be the biggest movie star ever. Yeah, bro. You're gonna be greater than Denzel. I'm gonna be the best musician ever. Yeah, you're better than Michael. Like, and you can't sing. You don't want a friend to like blow smoke up your butt. Right? You want friends to really give you the honest truth. But you want a friend that's gonna motivate you and support you too.
Right.
But that's a good point. Hey, that was definitely something that needs to be said and understood. But I hope everybody, appreciates this and enjoyed it. Please comment, let us know, and we'll respond. We can have a little discourse, and based on the comments, we can come back and have another conversation based on some of the comments, and go into some other deep stuff. But thank you everybody for watching, and you'll see us in episode 13 pretty soon. All right. Peace.